A celebration of a life well lived. A day of homage to the life of the matriarch. She fought relentlessly for the restitution of Khoi and San land, the recognition of their language, and against the use of the term coloured. Her commitment to unity and justice for the Khoi and San people is now her legacy.
Then question was very important for her because that is what the Khoi and San as indigenous people and as African people, we know the worth of land that was taken away from us. I usually say, those that knows me, that knows that I always say that a chief without land is like a rhino without a horn. It is abnormal, unnatural for a rhino not to have a horn at some point in time. So, and then the other one was the question of the recognition of the chiefs of the Khoi and San.
Triagaardt leaves behind her sons and husband, who were also involved in the crash. Her death came shortly after the government obtained an eviction order against King Khoisan SA. He occupied the gardens of the Union buildings for years, now in the fight for recognition.
For my father, I think it hit him hard because after all, it's his wife that we're talking about. And in that regard, even he feels so strong about even the situation because they left under certain circumstances that they left, and they always try to put that out there that they went out for a cause.
She was the kind of person that she stood by her husband, she stood by her family, she loved them very dearly. And what I can say about her is that when she decided she's going to go out with her, at first, her husband went first to the Union building. That was in 2017. And then afterwards, she said to him, no, my dear husband, I'm going to go with you. I will stand with you, I will keep your arms up, and I will be there for you. And when she left her home, she left her children, but she went up and she stood with him. She stood by his side. That's the type of person she is. But let's keep it in mind also, she never forget about the children. She let them they went up to Pretoria one by one, just to have the children with her all the time as well.
The protection of the indigenous languages of the Khoi and San remains a huge goal, and this includes the drive to have it recognized as an official language.
Importantly is the work that we have done to ensure that it also is included as part of curriculum within our schooling system. One of the key things about languages and why they die is if you're not speaking the language, this does lead to the decline of that particular language. So it's quite important that we allow the speakers of this language, whether first or second tongue, to also allow not just conversational but engaging in languages within their respective communities.
You can't speak to somebody. You can't engage with somebody if you don't recognize them, and that's the very first point of the 4 points that King and Queen stand for at the Union building. So I think recognition is very, very important. As on a human level, if you don't recognize a child, it's impossible to really engage with a child. If you don't recognize a woman, and so you can go for per definition. As an African, it's important to recognize your elder. It's such a big responsibility us as Africans that it even goes to a deity point for a lot of people on ancestral level. Now, if the Khoisan, however people want to call it, Gamkwe, you want to call it you want to call it whatever, Boesman, if that is the elder of the elders, aren't we disrespecting by not trying at least to recognize what we don't understand?
The Queen now lies buried in Van der Klem's kloof on the outskirts of Gqeberha, in honor of a profound connection to nature and her heritage. Nelson Mandela Municipality says, in honor of Queen Cynthia Triagaardt, it hopes to turn this Bethelsdorp Kloof into a heritage site, a place where future generations will come and learn about the rich history of the Khoisan. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News, Gqeberha.